Round one World Supercross. And yeah, my title is very accurate. Degan got smoked, but he also got third place. So how does that work? Well, you got like what was it? A fourth, a sixth, and a third. But it's because of a dumb rule that I can't find. I cannot freaking find this rule because supposedly it's the FIM World Supercross, but yet the rule book is like non-existent. Well, at least I can't find this in the rule book, and even in the main MXGP one, as far as if that you have to have a gate pick picked before you get down there, because essentially what I believe happened was Degan, which qualified something like seventh or so. So if I look at this, when it comes to qualifying, seventh, it's not really where I expected him to qualify with a 54.4 with Ken Roxson with a 53.2, because in practice, he was a 53.8. So it tells you that the track got worse. And Degan was a 53.9. So he was literally a half a second to a full second slower. What is that? For seventh place. Yeah, it's a half a second slower, which is pretty crazy. I expected Degan to come out there and just, I don't know, set the world on fire with the new Fox deal and everything. And you could tell that he was basically out there for an exhibitionist, because he was just throwing mass whips everywhere. He was looking back when there wasn't a rider behind him. He was blowing up tough blocks. And I really think that he is Tomac 2.0. Really, he took Tomac's motorcycle and he's riding it like Tomac. He's riding like he stole it. He's just wide open freaking everywhere with a track like in Argentina, because of the humidity is 100% down there. When you do have blue groove, you just have so much moisture in the air. It ends up just having wet on top. It's like having the water truck go out there when you already have blue groove. It's just going to be very slippery. And that's why we saw Kenny essentially wax everybody. And I remember it was like the ACJB show where Kenny got on there and he was very aggressive when, he was just saying that if Degan comes in, no, I'm not going to let him take anything. And this was the first time that they were racing against each other on the 450s, and guess who won? The Suzuki. Do I think Kenny could beat Degan if Degan got the whole shot? I don't know if Kenny could ride around Degan, because Degan rides a wide line. He's like a Mike LaRocco mixed with Eli Tomac, the way he rides that motorcycle. It's not somebody that you want to get around for sure. And I do have to say, for World Supercross, they did a decent job. I mean, for once, it wasn't this tiny little excavator that was built a BMX track. This was actually a Supercross track that was wide. I think it was a soccer stadium there, but it looked like they ran out of dirt. Looked like a lot of the rhythm sections were not as tall as they should be. They're like, make sure that the finish line is big, and the whoops are good, which if you're going to save dirt for something, yeah, finish line and whoops, by all means. Berms, if it's a flat corner, it's a flat corner. And then rhythm sections, if it's a rhythm section, it's a rhythm section. So I do want you guys to stay tuned, because I am going to have an analysis video, which is going to be pretty good this weekend here. But this left me wanting a little more. It was cool to see Degan get as shitty of a start, because if I'm backing up for a second, supposedly the rule is you have to pick a start before you get down to the gate. And for one, what the fuck is that? You can't see the rut in front of you. You have to like sit there and be like, hey, do you want gate 1 or 16? What is it going to be? Well, which one's the one next to the box? Is that 9 or is that 12? Well, here, I'll take, you know what? Time's over with. Degan, you're over there with your TikToks and you missed the time. You got to get it in. You just get gate 16. And apparently that's what happened. So he had to start basically last every single gate pick, which sucks, because this track was very somewhat one line, besides the whoops and some of the other. I will show that in this week's video, no spoilers. However, if you watched my analysis, you knew that the passing was just going to be in some of these hard corners, and we did see quite a bit of bumping, but we didn't see Freezy take anyone out. So I wonder, was he betting against himself to be like, hey, I bet 200 grand that I'm not going to take anyone out. So he just rode the smartest he's ever ridden before. No, I have no idea, but I was expecting a lot more out of Freezy. I was expecting some more fireworks. Degan, we did see a few fireworks with him bumping everybody around. And what I did see out of Degan is he can throw that motorcycle around and he can ride it like a 250. So to me, I'm still full blown prepared to see him line up at A1 in Fox gear. And with actual traction, this is going to be interesting. And not 12 laps, but 20 laps to maybe 25 laps because of the 20-minute main events. I think that this is going to be good. I mean, the last race, I still expected more, that he was going to catch Kenny at least, but Kenny still slowly walked away because Kenny's really good at throttle control. Like, that's him. That's where his comfort zone is. His comfort zone is, all right, I'm at a $180 heart rate. I'm now settled in. Let me just hit my lines and go. Nothing unexpected that's running at him real fast. That's Kenny, right? But how you get in Kenny's mind is when you're all over his ass and you push him to ride a little defensive and you kind of make him nervous about who's behind you. About, oh man, is this guy going to come in and brake check me or what? If he's got a clean track, Kenny's pretty hard to beat, even with some of the other guys that we have with Sexton and Tomac and Jet. You know, if Kenny starts in front, he's a hard guy to chase down. But yes, this is the bummer is I wish they didn't have this rule that I can't find. So if anybody knows this rule, even in the chat room, let me know. Because whenever I search freaking anything when it comes to gate or starting or whatever, I can't find the damn penalty that says that if you don't put in your gate pick before an hour before the gate drops, you're not gonna be able to have that 7th place gate pick or some shit. Just dumb. And I see some of the chat room with having the nostalgia between Jeff and Ralph Shaheen. Truthfully, guys, like I've given Ralph such a hard time before, but I will say, like, personally, I do like him better than Duffy when it came to Supercross. Like, there wasn't a whole, I mean, in the background, everybody was speaking Portuguese, you know, yeah, they're in South Africa. So, you know, they had to make some noise and they did a good job. Daniel Blair, dude, he's a superb analysis. Like, the whole thing leveled tremendously up when it came to production. I just wish we had a little bit better racetrack and a little bit better racing, which I wanted to see Degan in front of Kenny. I wanted to see Kenny come around him, but instead we saw him go from last to 4th to 6th to 3rd, which is good enough for 3rd overall. And I say that that's a good debut. It's a good debut. Nobody's going to say that it wasn't, but he kind of got smoked by Kenny. Kenny beat him by 18 seconds that last moto, and he was 1-1-1. And why would we see a Degan not just lay it all on the line? Even though he was throwing some massive whips, he was blocking people, but he wasn't taking people out. It's because he's lining up for A1. I'm fully convinced with this Fox deal, he's lining up at A1. As well as he rode that motorcycle, that 450, A1 all day long. A1. Degan, A1. I can't wait to go to A1 and see all these, see a white number plate on the number 38. That's what I want to see. And I mean, I guess if shit goes wrong, he could still race the East Coast on the 250. He did a couple rounds and like, oh, actually, you know, it's not for me. I'm still going to point out in the 250 class. Like, I think he could still do that. And if I get off a topic for that, and Anderson, just kind of expecting more out of Anderson. But I keep hearing these rumors that it's really a Twisted Tea bike, but just for World Supercross, he's running the progressive stickers. And if you look at how Kenny's motorcycle worked through the whoops and just how fast it was, I kind of think that that's probably it, which I'm bummed because Anderson is my homeboy. He's the El Hombre, right? I think he's everybody's homeboy. We want to see him have some W's this year, and to have him push back to a second-tier motorcycle, I'm not too impressed on. I'm not too impressed. Like, I'm really bummed. It gives me vibes of how the hell even you have Sexton be able to convince the Hawaiians that you could build a whole supercross track on Oahu, right? Where they are very territorial about the vegetation out there. And then with Marchbanks, he shows up and the guys are like, show up at the test track, bring your iPhone. We're going to announce that you're on the team, right? Just very, very different vibes, very different vibes. So I don't know. So while Degan was TikToking, he missed picking his gate and it fucked him up for the whole night show, which was a bummer. But it still was a win for him on that 450 and Fox. And again, he looks strong. Like, truthfully, I don't think Kenny could have beat him if Degan started in front of him. But he didn't. And so it's at that point, coulda, woulda, shoulda. Next thing I'm talking about is the Starks, right? You think those bikes would be freaking fast as F, but they weren't. I know the law or the rules that they have, which again, I can't find most of the damn rules, which I'll have to do a more deep dive earlier this week rather than not on the live stream here. But if I was on a Stark of the 250 class, go through tech inspection, is this thing set to 80 horsepower? Is it locked at 50? Oh, it's locked at 50. Go back to the realm, and if you're not cheating a little bit, you're not trying. So, tell my mechanic, be like, put the good ECU in it. Good ECU. And he's like, how good are we talking? I'm like 55, 60, something that's not quite noticeable, but it's enough to where if I have a factory Yamaha with an Anstey all over my ass, like I'll be able to just that little bit. All right, Johnny, you got it. Boom. That's probably why I'm not a team manager or a factory rider and was never good enough, right? But again, I would pursue him on round one. Nobody cares. Who's going to protest you, right? And I really think that the Starks struggled because they don't have traction control. I mean, they're an electric bike, but the ironic part is the technology to like put the power to the ground is just not there. It's the R&D is just not there. Motorcycle's fast, but you're lacking the rigidity in the frame to the suspension. It's just the power is not there, right? It's not this usable power that's there. It's a scary power, but not just staying down on the ground. So therefore it's an inferior motorcycle. And we saw it. I know a lot of guys said that they couldn't hear and they had the yellow plates, which was kind of cool because you could at least know which bike was what. I might have expected more, but then I'm thinking to myself, like, why was I expecting more? Because you have even the Suzuki that has 69 years worth of R&D on it. Why would a Stark be able to beat it? No, it wouldn't, right? So for that, we'll see, baby. It just needs its own class, the own E class. I know MXGP, they're coming out with their own E big bike class, and they're going to have that new whatever dumb looking 450 it is with the camo. It'd be a super cool looking Yamaha if it didn't have the camo. However, that's so yeah. I was a little bit just like wanting more from this, I mean, the stream went down a little bit a couple times, which is cool. It tells me that the bandwidth wasn't quite there to deal with the amount of traffic that was on the website, which I think is good. And the SX1 class, I was expecting a big battle because, when Degan was struggling to get around his old trainer, Craig, that was saying something. But then Cooper would have thought that he would have been able to get around Cooper, but we know Cooper's a damn good rider until he starts jumping through the whoops, which he did start jumping through the whoops because those whoops were still very slippery. And then looking at pictures from like Racer X and anything, they look massive. They look like they were 15 feet apart. And I think they pushed them back together because the riders were probably like, guys, who taught you how to build a supercross track here? Go get more dirt from the other jumps and put it in here. Let's fill this shit in. And that's kind of what I think happened there. So in the 250 class, the SX2 class, Anstey all day. He just ran away with everything. And McElrath, I think he got arm pump the last moto because he started just battling with some more guys. But Yeah, it's looking pretty boring there. So like the rest of the deal, I'm waiting for the next one is, I believe, is it Tomac that is going to be the wild card because he's the defending champ. Let me just look back here and look at the riders real quick to see where he is showing up. Dun 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 dun. Buenos Aires in Canada. So round 2, he's in for Canada. And yes, Tomac is in for Canada. And the schedule, is it this weekend? Come on, let it be this weekend because we just watched the last one, but I'm already ready for the next one. November 15th. Yeah, right away. So South Africa, boom, just going 1,000 miles higher to Canada. And yeah, now if Degan couldn't get it done, can Tomac get it done on a cable clutch KTM that is purpose built just for him and make everybody, Sexton and everybody, look bad? I think he can. The defending champ, we're going to hear that motorcycle scream. But overall, I'm kind of thinking that Degan is going to ride old Tomac's bike just like Tomac. Tomac 2.0. Bra da 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 da. Yep, and Degan is not racing Canada.